If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
You were saying the Olympics wasn't interesting you yesterday. Well, can I offer you 50 seconds of interest?
50 seconds of interest is a similar pitch I make to my girlfriend on a nightly basis.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Oh, baby, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. We will get to those at 11 o'clock. Get your officially endorsed at the end of the program. Jake Trotter going to stop by at 10:33. Aaron Portzline on the Blue Jackets thing stopping by. They will start tomorrow, as the Handsome Update anchor just told you. They start tomorrow up in Minnesota. Porty will join us with a season preview coming up at 11:33. Higher Lower coming up at 10 o'clock. In short, we are absolutely loaded. Reese is here. Tyvis Powell is here, and we are off and running. I thought we would start with a little game of Guess the Stats, boys. A little game of Guess the Stats for the fellas. When do you think Oregon's football program, all right, when do you think Oregon's football program first won 10 games? First 10-win season in Oregon football history.
I would feel like back when I was younger, so I would say like 2008.
1997. 98.
Okay.
No,
all right.
it wasn't. I feel like they wasn't good back then.
Split the difference. They actually had their first 10-win season in 2000 under Mike Bellotti.
Was that Joey Harrington, quarterback?
Joey would have been there 01. It could have been Joey in 2002. He was a 3 or 4 year starter there. They won 10 games in 2000. Then they went 11-1 in 01. What's crazy is if you take it a step further in their history, up until Bellotti wins 10 in 2000, they only had 4 9-win seasons in their history. They won 9 in 1928, 9 in 1933, 1948 they went 9-2. In 1994 under Rich Brooks, who was there a long time, they went 9-4. Okay, so the reason that I bring all this up is something flipped, and that something was a combination of Rich Brooks into Mike Bellotti, into Chip Kelly, and then away that they went. But it was also the fact that Phil Knight came on board. And Phil Knight at Nike said, I went to Oregon, and I would really like us to be good at football. And what Phil Knight did is, in those days, before NIL, the only thing that you could do, and Tyvis, you were recruited at this time, you played during this era,
Jerseys.
The only thing that you could do to try to get guys to come to your school was have cool gear.
Yes, they had the best.
They had the best gear.
Yeah, they did.
The other thing that they had is they had the best facilities. So when they opened their current football facility, which I'm sure has been updated a bunch of times, but when they first opened it like 20 years ago, they were the first ones that had like Xboxes in every stall. Like there was virtual reality stuff that would pop in as you went into your private stall in your locker. Like better than any NFL locker room you've ever been in, better than everything you've ever walked into. So their facilities were just next level. And they had to be. Because by God, they're in Eugene, Oregon. What choice do they have to get guys there other than to have the coolest uniforms and the coolest facilities?
I feel like they updated them once I was in college, or they
Probably.
might have redid, because I remember that kind of helped. That kind of made Ohio State then have to redo their locker room because Oregon unveiled what they had, and it was like, whoa, what is that? What's going on over there? And it made Ohio State think, okay, we need to redo our locker room, because when I got here in 2012, that locker room got renovated in like 2013, 2014 maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that, and it's totally different now. So Yeah, that Oregon was way above their time and with some of the things that they did. And, I knew a couple of players that went over there, and obviously they had a good time with the one thing that always made me jealous is that they had them, I'm a big Jordans lover.
Yep.
They had them Jordan 3s, them black, orange, and green ones. And I used to sit at Ohio State like, why can't we get those type of things? But
hold on right there. Think what you just said. Why can't we have those type of things? Because what Phil did is he made the program, his alma mater, have something that nobody else could have. Mm-hmm. And then all of the Nike schools, from complaints like guys like you, said, wait a second. We need to have this stuff too. And sure enough, that started to happen. Places like Oklahoma State started to get 100 uniforms. Everybody started to get 100 uniforms. We had a bunch of different uniform variations. Everybody started to get them if you wanted them. You want the Jordan cleats? Fine. We'll make sure you guys get the Jordan cleats. Now there's Jordan teams all over the country. Oklahoma's a Jordan team. Florida's a Jordan team. Michigan's a Jordan team. There's a bunch of them that are out there that are now Jordan teams for the exact same reason of what you just said. And so their advantage started to slip. So they had the uniforms, they had the facilities, and then they had pace of play. They were the first team that played on fast forward, and that's Chip. Yeah. Chip did that.
That tempo real.
That tempo was real. And so the years that Chip was there from 09 to 12, they go 10-3, 12-1, 12-2, 12-1. So that's on it. He plays for a national championship, a game that they lose to Auburn. You guys beat Helfrich. Chip had gone to Philly. You guys beat Helfrich for the national championship in 2014. So that's the golden era for them. That's the stretch. The end of Bellotti, into Chip, and that first year with Helfrich. And then they kind of are blown in the wind a little bit, and now they're back with Lanning, who is desperate for a big win. He needs one in the biggest possible way. The reason that I wanted to talk about all of this is because we've been thinking about this Oregon game for about a year. We knew that this is one that we were going to circle on the calendar. We knew that when they joined the Big Ten, something that we talked about a lot on this show, like it makes all the sense in the world to add them, to add Washington. They were one of the few, other than Washington, Oregon pushed for Big Ten to join the Big Ten. They pushed hard. Phil pushed hard. They were relentless in trying to get into the Big Ten. I think Washington could take it or leave it. They could have stayed in the Pac-12 if Oregon would have stayed, but they were going wherever Oregon went. So they wanted this. They got it. Eventually they got in. You knew this game was one that was on the schedule in 2020. You're finally going to get to play it on Saturday. But what I was curious about in thinking about Oregon and their history and how it was built is, could this ever be done again? Could you ever take a program that had had very marginal success for much of the first 100 years of its existence, and with a combination of money and intrigue and pace of play and style of play and a cool place to live, sort of, but off the beaten path, could you ever do this again? Is what Oregon did over the last 25 years duplicable anywhere else in the country?
I would argue, is it SMU doing that right now?
Well, they're trying. And now I feel like you're coming after my heart because you know how much I love SMU.
So I think you're kind of cheating.
I got you, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you're cheating a little bit.
I would argue SMU. We will find out with SMU because obviously, they got the money, so they're going to be able to pay the players. Obviously, with the revenue sharing and NIL still being a thing, they'll be able to pay those players. It's down there, so it's a cool place to be.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is a cool place to be, so I think you're in the right spot. I think you're in Texas. They love Texas. They love football in Texas, so you'll have the fan support. Now all you need is some cool uniforms, which
they got.
So they're
pretty clean.
And if they win in games, I would say SMU would be the modern-day Oklahoma or Oregon.
And I think he's got a great point with everything he said, plus billionaires. Yeah. Now that you can pay players, now that you can or will start to have schools share the revenue from broadcast deals. I mean, the Ponies are in the pole position right now for the ACC championship game. They don't play Miami. They don't play Clemson on the schedule. So they'll likely see them in a title game, and the winner there gets the auto bid into the college football playoff. Like, think of
they win that.
They've already got right. First round bye. Think of there's already a rocket ship that's strapped to SMU because that's what the money allows you to do. But that would put nitrous into that rocket, and it would propel them into, they'd already be one of the top four because that's what the playoff dictates. So that, I think, is the program, because everything that Tyvis said would get players not only from high school, but then players in the portal that I need a second chance. You got guys, defensive players at USC, defensive players at Alabama that are already saying they're going into the transfer portal. Why not SMU?
Yeah, they are the ones. We've talked about them a lot. ESPN did a story on them 3 or 4 weeks ago about here come the billionaires, that type of stuff, and watch them spend. A&M's got money too. There's a lot of schools that have money. SMU just has never been invited to the party, and now they are. And they basically made their own invitation and paid for their own way and threw their own party, but they're in. The more I thought about the Oregon thing, though, I just thought about how improbable it is. There is not a high school football recruiting base in the state of Oregon. There's some talent, but not one where you can build the basis of a recruiting class. There isn't in the Pacific Northwest. They are dependent on California primarily to fill their recruiting classes. They are having to, the fact that they are getting transfers from Alabama or Texas, the fact that they could go into the Deep South and get kids to go to Oregon, it's a remarkable thing that they've done. And I am fascinated by the moment in time when Phil Knight realized, when he decided, I want this to be a football power and this is how we're going to do it. Who gave him? I'd love to have somebody on who was there like at the beginning with all of this, but like who said, what if we do uniforms? What made them think or know that would be the catalyst? Because, buddy, by the time you got there in 2014, they were already a decade plus into it. Yeah. The uniform thing started when you were in middle school.
Yeah, and it got everybody's attention. I mean, like I said, as a kid, I don't care who you were. If they recruited you, like you took that visit, you had some real interest because it was just – like, you grew up looking at them uniforms like, man, they got the best uniforms in college. Like, to know that every game, we probably won't even duplicate uniforms. There's going to be something different every game, and I'm going to get the gear. Like, and it's going to be, like, fun. We're winning games. Like, that. Yeah. It was definitely attractive to every high school recruit. Like, there's nobody that can come out and honestly say, yeah, I wouldn't have thought about going to Oregon.
The other thing about it that was really interesting, and I remember talking, because I've been to 2 bowl games with these guys, and so I got to know the beat a little bit and talked to them both at the Rose Bowl game and then with you guys at the national championship. And the one thing that they were concerned about is kids taking the visit just for the visit. There were so many recruits that would take the visit just for the visit, but weren't really seriously considering Oregon at that time. The other thing I wonder about them long term is what happens when Phil Knight passes. Is there an endowment? Who's going to make sure that they stay here? Because unlike Ohio State or Texas or various other programs out there that have a bunch of different wealthy boosters who you can pull from, I don't know if Oregon does. It feels like it's one. Like Oklahoma State had one. They had T. Boone Pickens, and he wrote big checks. But then T. Boone Pickens went to the oil field in the sky. And then what happens to that program now? What happens to Oregon after this? Is this all sustainable for them? We did that yesterday in the Real Truth Reese. Is this the most realistic thorn in Ohio State's side in the Big Ten over the next decade? It's hard to say what the future is out there. But they're damn good right now, and they're going to give you the biggest test of the year. Chip Kelly will be heading out to Oregon, a return for him. Obviously, he did that at UCLA. This one is going to hit a little bit different in that he will have a talent-for-talent matchup that certainly is in his favor this time around. You will hear from him. You'll hear from Ryan Day. It is Oregon week. It is a first Friday. We are off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey guys, it's D. Miller. If you're not feeling upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. That's right, it affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. But we're not all the same. So don't go for TRT referred to as a standard dosage plan. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan, like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. They provide advanced therapy and have over a decade of experience. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
There's always time for the drive-thru deal. Because no matter how fast you are at making breakfast, McDonald's is faster.
Wake up to McDonald's breakfast and mix and match a classic sausage McMuffin, delicious sausage burrito, or crispy hash browns. Get any two for just $3. Order ahead in the app and pick up curbside. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
All right. Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport, Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
When the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
Or you say,
hang it in there.
Because
if I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
Then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Nothing but the sunshine over the next few days. Today, lots of blue sky with a high of 70. Tonight, we get down to 42. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 69. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, we've been working on this one for a long time, and we want you to join us for an unforgettable evening. It is Tuesday, November 12th. It's at High Bank Distillery, right near us in Grandview. Thrilled to invite you to the release of our exclusive fan barrel picks. Proceeds benefit Brady Quinn's Third and Gold Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Exclusive barrel picks. I was in on these picks. I love them. You're going to love them. I think there's something for everybody. Delicious food pairings on this. Live music, meet and greet with select athletes. For tickets and more information, head to 971thefan.com. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. I do wonder... I remember talking to a local television guy who was from Eugene and covered the Ducks. This was at the Rose Bowl game. TP had probably his best game as a Buckeye, was in that Rose Bowl game, and we were talking about Chip. And I said, "Well, what's the does he like it here? What do you know about Chip? And he goes, honestly, like Chip keeps to himself. Like he just kind of eats and breathes football. Like he's not in the community the way that Bellotti was. He's like, I don't know. I don't know if he's long for the place. And I thought, God, this is a hell of a fit. Like his style of offense and the pace of play and the way that they were able to recruit it. Even his practices, Tyvis, were such a stark different from at the time Tressel's practices. Chip's practices were ultra fast paced. There was music playing constantly, which I think is what Urban went to with you guys, right? That's how it. That's how it always was with you guys, right? Like you always had the pace, and you always had, like they would always put the countdown clock. It was always there. There was always music playing. Like Ohio State wasn't doing any of that stuff in 2010. They weren't. That's not what it was about. But Chip started doing it. And when I went to his practice for the first time, I'm like, oh, this works. I get this. I understand why people like this. You got uniforms, you got Nike, you got pace of play, you've got these practices that are high intensity, high tempo, and they're fun. And so it was a good fit. And I do wonder, like, if you could hook him up to a lie detector, would he have ever taken the Philadelphia Eagles job to begin with? It's hard to say. You can't look back. Life, it doesn't do you any good to do that. But he had something pretty sweet there. He returns at Ohio State. He's obviously been back at UCLA before. He was available yesterday. Here is Chip on Oregon and how it's not all about him. He doesn't want his return to be the main story.
Well, I didn't build the program. Rich Brooks and Mike Bellotti built the program. I just kind of jumped in after Mike, but it's a special place, and I think it's great for our players. You know, a chance for them to play in one of the special places in college football. And, you know, they came out here a couple years ago and got to play in the shoe. We get to go play in Autzen Stadium, and it's Autzen Stadium at that time of day. It's truly special. So I think our guys are excited. They're a really good team.
They are. Defensively, there will be some challenges for Chip's offense. Here's Chip Kelly on the Ducks defense.
I think the way Jordan Birch is playing right now up front, you know, they've got a lot of seniors on their defense. I think there's 9 of them in that starting lineup. You know, everybody in the back end, the 2 linebackers, the 1 linebacker, Bassa, seems like he's been there for a long time. And then Betcher, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, number 28, who's a really good player, baseball player, has played really, really well. It kind of seems like he's the heart and soul of that defense. And then they have veterans in the secondary. I know they're transfer kids, but they're all seniors that have played a lot of football. So I think they're really gelling together as a group. You know, they're going to present a lot of different looks. So we've got to be ready for everything they can throw at you, and they're going to throw a lot of things at you. So, you know, that's the challenge when you're going to play a team like this. So you get excited about it.
What was it like for you, the first truly hostile environment that you remember going into? When you were a dude, not when you were a little dude trying to make it. I'm saying when you were like a guy, when you were a dude.
You had me. So that goes 2013 when I was the nickel. Take that out. Okay, that was just, I was just Tyvis at that time. 2014, the hostile environment in 2014 for me, it was Penn State. It was that night game at Penn State at Happy Valley. That was the one where I was like, where I really understood. Because, you know, 2013 I played, but, like, I wasn't a guy that people kind of knew. I was just a nickel. 2014 they actually knew who I was. So when I got there against Penn State, you know, they'd blow the horns at night to try to keep you up. Then I seen the fans just say all kind of crazy things to me. And I was just like, what? Well, you know what it did, though? It hyped me up. I love that. I was like, keep that same energy after this game's over. It got me ready to go. And I remember, you know, being out on that field for warm-ups. Coach Meyer said, you had a different look in your eyes. He said, I looked at you and I just knew you was different that game. And that's what a hostile environment did for me. You know, I love, to be honest with you, Bo, I love the shoe. I love playing in front of these fans. But I absolutely, there was no feeling to me like going on the road and playing in hostile environments, because to me, they preached the military a lot to us, and I kind of took it by, like, I really took a hold of that, and I thought to myself, like, this is all I got is my teammates. Like, this is it. Like, we got to come out of this together, and I got to do my job to make sure we get out of here, and I just enjoy silencing the crowd. Like, it's no better feeling, Bo, than telling 80, 90, 100,000 people to sit down and be quiet, or after the game, have a safe drive home. Y'all wasted y'all money. It was the greatest feeling. So I always enjoy playing on the road, and I hope that the Buckeyes enjoy the same thing.
They do. Of course they do. They're cut from the same cloth you are, and there is something like, there's something galvanizing. There's something, I mean, you think of, like, you know, we are Spartans, right? 300 of us versus 80,000 of you in a way. All of that stuff, it all works. There's something galvanizing about it. I am thrilled that this is a 4:30 local kick. So 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 local. That means that what you're going to get is you're going to get this going from sunlight to night is you're going to get, which is a sweet one. I have not been to Eugene. I can't speak on that stadium. I can't speak on the experience of it. My hunch is, though, that you will get all of the things that you got in Happy Valley. My guess is they're going to be screwing around with the hotels. My guess is that you'll see some of that. Depending on where the Buckeyes stay, you could take it with a night game. You could actually stay in like Portland and just kind of stay out of the mix.
I wonder where they are going to stay.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't make it public, but I would think that you would. There's no reason to be in Eugene. There's a lot of places to stay. It's not that far.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I haven't played in Eugene, but I have a friend that did play in the Pac-12 for many years. His name is Richard Sherman. He played at Stanford. And I was asking, so when we were talking about Ohio State, because every now and then.
His name is Richard Sherman.
Yeah, every now and again.
We know who he is.
Every now and
Pick
again.
up that name you dropped.
Whatever. He's just a guy. But every now and again, we talk about like Ohio State and college football and stuff like that. And he was telling me, like, he was like, y'all better be careful out there because I'm telling you right now, Eugene, that stadium is nothing out there in Eugene. All they care about is Oregon football. So that place is going to be rocking. And I'm telling you, it's just a different atmosphere. So if he's saying that, then it must be legit because this is a guy who's played on Super Bowl stages and all those things. So he speaks very highly of the atmosphere at Eugene.
Covered a good portion of Oregon over the summer on a trip. Didn't see any Oregon State stuff.
No.
Saw a lot of Duck stuff. That's their state.
Oh, yeah. They own it. There's no question that they do. How much do you believe that Chip can he stay within himself? And it's been a long time since he's been there. He's been back at UCLA for a long time. Can he take the emotion of the return out of it? My hunch is he could.
Did he get fired from Oregon? Or
No. He went to Philly.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
at the end of the Oregon run, he could have gone anywhere he wanted. He chose to. He had the Browns, the Eagles, every NFL team wanted him. He chose to go to Philly.
Yeah, I don't think that he has that type of vengeance in his heart because it's not like they fired him. He left on his own. He did what he did. He built the program up. He brought them some success. I don't see why he would want to go back and, obviously he want to go back and win the game, but I don't think it's a vengeful way. I think he's just really, he coming off as a level-headed guy, and I think you want to keep your emotions out of this. If you get too emotional about it, then you start making calls that you probably shouldn't make. So I think he's taking the right approach by staying level-headed.
All right. The trigger man for Chip will be Will Howard, of course. He came here for games like this. You will hear from him coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Are you tired of large point spreads and lackluster matchups? Us too. Good news. It's Oregon Week. More good news. You picked the right radio station. The Fan.
The fall holiday weekend is just around the corner. It's the perfect time to dare to compare at Bob's Discount Furniture. You've seen the action. You've felt the suspense. You've saved hundreds, even thousands of dollars on highly rated furniture, mattresses, and more. America loves it so much that Bob's is opening 2 new stores on October 11th, just in time for the holiday weekend. See how much you can save when you dare to compare in store or at mybobs.com.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers, like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Ready to hit the road in a new car? With Pathways, enjoy up to 90 days with no payments and low auto loan rates. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants you to breathe out your oil change-anxiety. And breathe in automotive peace. Visit us today.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing. High school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football. The Fan.
First down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday. The Ducks and the Bucks, Saturday night in Eugene. For the Buckeyes, this is going to be a lot about Will Howard. Ryan Day on Will and the stage that will be set on Saturday night.
He came here for a reason. He came here to play in games like this, and he's played in games like this, but he's excited to do that, and his preparation's going to be the same. We always say that it's about us. Now, that being said, we got to be experts at our opponent and know our opponent cold, but it doesn't change our preparation. If our preparation has been to our standard up to this point, we just need to continue to do what we've been doing. So, he's been looking forward to this game. Obviously, we all have been. So when the schedule came out, and, there's a reason you come to Ohio State, and there's a reason he came, and for games like this.
That exact same question posed to your quarterback. Here's Will's answer to it.
Oh, absolutely. When you come to a place like Ohio State, you want to play on the biggest stage, college game day, all the hype, 2 versus 3 matchup. Like, this is what you sign up for. And this is what I was looking forward to. And, it's a challenge, man. It's fun. This is what college football is all about. This is what you dream about as a kid, man. Like, just, being on this stage, playing in front of, a ton of people and a ton of people watching on TV. Like, it's a dream, man. And it's definitely a big reason why I came here.
With all due respect to Coach Day, Will has not played in a game like this.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
This is number 2 against number 3 in the country. This isn't some Big 12 championship.
No,
This is number 2 against number 3.
Didn't he play Alabama in like the Cotton Bowl or something?
Okay, yeah, that's an equivalency. What are you talking about? All of a sudden.
Stage.
Oh, God. Well, then what do we? If something happens at quarterback, we're fine because we played in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. That's the biggest game in the history of the world.
I've been talking about.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the team. He went against Alabama. Now, he got rolled in that game, but, you know.
I'm talking about number 2 versus number 3.
No, he has not played in a game like that.
He has not played in one like this. No. How good, if you could give him one thing that he has to do, what does he have to do Saturday night?
Protect the football. I think they can win. They can win some games if he don't have them crazy turnovers, which is funny because him and Dylan Gabriel both have some crazy turnovers. But I think if he turns the ball over, which this was an interesting stat. I didn't know the success in the red zone that Ohio State had. Like,
you mean perfect?
I don't think it's perfect. I think they like 98 or 99%. I think they score like a bunch of all touchdowns and kick like one field goal in the red zone, to where Oregon is like 77% or something like that. So they're as efficient. But it's crazy to me that if you take a touchdown, like if one of these teams get in the red zone and gets a field goal, that could be the difference in a game. So you can't have any mistakes, especially in the red zone. You got to be locked in because that could be the difference in the game.
From an offensive standpoint on the Oregon side of it, and we're going to get to some thoughts from Ryan on that in a second, their Achilles heel has been the red zone all season. They've moved it up and down. The opener against Idaho, they moved it up and down. He threw for 400 yards. They just couldn't put it in the paint. Yeah. He did the same thing last week. He had 2 red zone turnovers, Gabriel.
I know he did.
Like, that ain't going to fly.
No, he do that. They're going they're gonna lose by a lot of points.
I actually think there's a couple ways. I think there are a bunch of ways Ohio State can win this game. I think they can win it bludgeoning them on the ground with the 2 backs.
I do, too. I think that's what they're going to try to do.
I agree. Yeah. And I think they can throw and win. I think that they can do both of those things. I think that there's a lot of paths for a Buckeye win out there. Conversely, for Oregon, I think that there is one path, and it's exactly what you said about Howard. Dylan Gabriel has to be clean, and they've got to score in the red zone. He will throw it to you. Here is Ryan Day on Oregon's offense and the challenges it will present.
I think it's great because we control your own destiny because you're playing the best teams in the league on our schedule. That part's great. Every time you're playing one of these teams, you're fighting for an opportunity to go to Indianapolis, and that's important. So there's that part of it. Then there's obviously the playoff scenario. So a lot at stake this weekend, which is exactly the way we want it. They get the ball out quick, and Gabriel's very accurate, and they have really good playmakers out in space, and they make you defend the field from sideline to sideline, and then they take their shot. So they play very, very fast. So you got to be on your game, and he's a great operator, and he's very talented.
All right, it's on a tee for you, defensive MVP.
You know what? I was thinking at this, and I was thinking about what's a matchup in this game that they're going to try to go at. What is something that I am going to look at? Obviously, when you look at their offense, you think about Dylan Gabriel, you think about these wide receivers, but it's one particular matchup. Jordan Hancock versus Tej Johnson. I think that's the one that I'm going to see because it was at times early in the season, I seen Jordan Hancock kind of struggle a little bit. And for those who haven't played nickel, it is tricky to play nickel because it's a lot of space, it's a lot of bodies. You got to worry about over routes. These guys are usually shifty and fast. And I want to know if Jordan can handle those things in a one-on-one because obviously we play a lot of man. If we're going to play just straight up man-to-man, that's going to be the matchup that maybe requires some help. Like a safety, maybe you have one of those safeties be an inside piece or you got one of those linebackers being a hole player or something like that because that Tej Johnson, he got some juice to him, and like I said, that one, I can see them trying to attack that, especially early and often.
What if you're Jim Knowles? What would you try to do? You've scouted Oregon. You know what they bring to the table. You just had the Tej Johnson comments there. If you're Jim Knowles, what do you try to make them be? Make them play one-handed. What does that mean for Oregon? What do you try to take away first if you're Jim Knowles?
Well, I think if you obviously you want to make them one-dimensional, and I think they do a great job. But the running back, Jordan James, don't get me wrong, He's a physical guy. I think his longest run on the season is 41 yards, and he just got that last week. So it's not like he's just been blowing it away. And I love our linebackers on him. So obviously you have to think about stopping that pass first, because those are where the explosive players is at. You know, if they're running the ball, I think that we can do enough, especially with that D line. I think they can do enough to just stop that single-handedly. You got to find a way to stop the RPOs. That's where they're gonna try to get you, the RPOs. If your defensive line can handle those stunts and do those things that the linebackers aren't as worried about flying up there to get to that stop the run, and they can spend an extra second in the pass, I think that's not what Oregon wants to do. They don't want to do that. They want to be explosive. They want to throw the ball. They want to show everybody Dylan Gabriel's this really good quarterback, and they want to show these wide receivers. Heck, they got the #1 wide receiver in the country that's committed to them. So they got to show them, like, hey, when you come here, these are the things we're going to do. Oh, by the way, Ohio State was the team that was the runner-up to you, so let's show them what we're going to do to them for the next couple of years. So make them run the ball. And I don't think they'll be successful. I just don't think that they are ready to do that for 4 quarters.
This feels like a Caleb Downs special, does it not? Lathan Ransom. It feels like this feeds in. I mean, it's a position you played. It feels like their style fits well with what we have on the back end of the defense.
Mm-hmm. You need that. You need those linebackers that's smart enough, that can come up, make plays, that's good in the pass, that's also good in the run. Like I said, that RPO, though, it puts them linebackers in a bind. But if you got safeties that's there, that can cover, that can help, then it doesn't matter. That was one of the things that we dealt with when I played. When we was playing, we was a quarters team. And the hardest thing was RPOs for our linebackers, because they flew down, and I'm 10 yards from the DB. And if they go like a 5 and out or a slant, obviously it's hard to make a play on that. And what happened is we tightened up our alignments and we played more man, which then freed the linebackers up, and it kind of took a lot of the RPO stuff away. So I would imagine that's kind of what Jim knows is going to do. You have the personnel to do that. I think these guys match up well. If you have these guys checking maybe every now and again a slot with tight ends and stuff like that, you have the personnel to still go man and play tight man and not have to need the linebackers for that.
You have the athletes for the matchup.
Yes.
And then it's just about execution on both sides of the ball and what that looks like. Meantime, the team up north is not having a very good week. We'll get you the details on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Trust and Will knows that this fall, you're likely celebrating a birthday, your own, a loved one's, or even welcoming a new addition, because fall is the most popular birthday season in America, and Trust and Will celebrates milestones by protecting what matters most. Trust and Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, with step-by-step guidance designed by attorneys but customized by you. All documents are state-specific, legally valid, and secure. Plus, Trust and Will has thousands of 5-star reviews and a rating of excellent on Trustpilot. So join the hundreds of thousands of families in celebrating and securing your future with Trust and Will. Visit trustandwill.com now with offer code Columbus for 10% off your plan. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trustandwill.com. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney. Documents are not valid until formally executed in accordance with applicable law.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Everyone has that one goal. That thing they want to prove. Not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Ben Sadler, Assistant Vice President, Commercial Lending, on what makes First Bank of Central Ohio successful.
What we do as a community bank is really, listening to, that company, finding the solutions that best need their business and is not just a universal product that you could get anywhere else.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. True Work is the most technical workwear in the world, delivering modern solutions to timeless job site challenges. Innovation meets tradition in True Work's high-performance lineup of work pants, shirts, and jackets, all engineered to give you the comfort and protection you need, especially in the most extreme conditions. Check out the full lineup with over 50,000 five-star reviews at truework.com and use the code SPORTS15 to get 15% off your first order. That's TRUEWERK.com. True Work helps you be your best when the weather's at its worst.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky's Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, obviously, things are not going very well for Michigan in the loss over the weekend to Washington. Director of High School Relations, Chris Bryant, went at a fan in the stands, who, of course, was recording it, and told him to please be quiet in more precise language that would get us thrown off the radio. His entire bio has since been wiped off the Michigan Athletics official website. They are hanging on by a thread up there. My feeling with what Michigan did, and I think that even the Sharon Moore hire is part of it, is I think they're like, look, we won as big as we can win. I've always used the Danny Ocean analogy from the Ocean's 11 movies to describe Harbaugh. Like he won, he stole all the money from the casinos and he got away with it, and he gets to go scot-free and live in the south of France or wherever the hell he wants to, in his case Orange County, and that's what he gets to do. In the meantime, everyone else has to pick up the mess, so Sharon Moore's picking up the mess. I think it's absolutely stunning that they just kind of rolled the dice at quarterback and said, yeah, we're good enough. That's nuts that they didn't get in the portal and get a player at quarterback there who could actually throw the ball down the field. So all of these things coming home to roost. They have 2 losses already. I think there's a lot more on the schedule for them as this thing goes along. Are you surprised at the state of that program coming off of what it was? Because this is a pretty big fall, and it's not just the Stallion stuff, which we're going to get to in a second, but it's also stuff like this at Washington, where it just feels like they're wildly undisciplined.
I knew that they weren't going to. It was like I knew they wasn't going to go back to the national championship this year. I knew that was out of it. Like, that was the case. But I definitely thought that they brought back enough. I thought that Donovan Edwards would be a good running back this year. I thought, having the D tackles, having Will Johnson, I was like, they got enough. And those are key positions. When you think about Wolverine football, what I just said is how they win games. Is those things. Obviously, the biggest thing was replacing the 5 starters on the offensive line. But I thought, Sharon Moore is the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator, and he was the O-line coach. Like, if anything, I'm never going to worry about the position of the head coach that he used to coach. Like, that's like me worrying about quarterback at Ohio State. Like which I guess that blew up in my face last year. But anyways, I'm usually not worried about that because I know they're going to spend time in there to make sure that position group is right. And even when they had some impressive wins, the USC game was impressive and all of those things. I knew at some point you got to throw the ball. And I think that's what JJ did. Everybody was talking about, JJ doesn't throw the ball. They're hiding him because they're running the ball all the time. No, JJ threw the ball and he made the necessary throws. Their offense isn't complicated. I just need you to make a couple of good throws a game. That's it. We're gonna physically dominate them in the trenches. I just need, when we throw play action, I just need you to hit that guy. That's it. And now they don't have a guy that can do that, and it's sad. Actually, it really is.
I ain't gonna cry for him.
I ain't crying for him, but it's sad.
Their next 6, so they're off this week. Then they're at Illinois, which that's going to be a
fist
fight.
They might lose, yeah.
They might. Then they got Michigan State at home. Then they got Oregon at home. Then they're at Indiana.
That might be a low,
which might be tricky. Then it's Northwestern, and then the game. So that's it. They're 4-2 right now. I don't think they're getting to double-digit wins. I don't.
Do you think Sharon Moore makes it past the season?
I think he makes it past the penalties.
Okay.
I think they make him – he is going to be the fault. You can't punish Harbaugh. What are they going to do, give him an 8-year show cause? He's not coming back to coach college football. He doesn't give a damn
Didn't they just
about
give
that.
Antonio Pierce something like that?
Yeah. He don't care. He's coaching in the NFL. He's not going to try to go coach college football again. Harbaugh's not coaching in college again. He's at the Chargers. This is going to be his last job. He already had the best job he wants in college at Michigan. So any sort of show cause, anything like that is not going to be a pound of flesh that's going to be sufficient. But you can fire Sharon Moore, and you can make him be the fall guy for all of this. And that's my hunch of what's going to happen. If I had to guess how this goes, that's what I think will happen. I think he will be the fall guy. So I think he's there until those penalties are known. Is that this year and next? Maybe. But I don't see any scenario where he's there in 5 years. Do you, Reese, at all see any scenario where he's there in 5 years?
I think in some form or fashion, actually.
Wow,
I wonder because of, he was 6, was it 6-1 or however many games that he had last year. He was the interim. He kind of weathered him through this. I feel like he gets. Well, I'm thinking of how molasses the NCAA is going to move with their penalties, considering they give Michigan whatever penalties, and Michigan has time to respond. Yeah. I think so. I think once this all gets sorted out and Michigan starts serving those penalties, I still think Sharon's there for that. And I think that'll be in a 5-year window. 10 years, no.
What do you think, bud?
I think
they're so slow with everything else. The NCAA is.
You cannot. This is why it won't happen. This is why he's not getting for 5 years. They are not going to let themselves go back into a free fall.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. Not like Brady. Dude, the teams that you guys were playing, you think about the Rich Rodriguez teams now Brady got them back to respectability. You played those teams. You had a pick against those teams for the audience to remember. Well, a very timely pick at the end of that game in 13. Yeah. But Brady got him back on the map. He was able to recruit a little bit. They fell off a cliff with Rich. They cannot go back to that. They can't.
They won't. They were headed there anyways because they had what's the guy? They had it's a quarterback, a high school quarterback that committed to Notre Dame. Or maybe
it's Lloyd Carr's grandson.
Yeah, they couldn't even get him. Then they had
I think that was a stylistic thing as much as anything else. And Lloyd Carr's family wasn't crazy about Jim Harbaugh. They kind of butted heads a little bit.
Didn't they have another 5-star kid on their roster that transferred?
He's there now.
What's his name?
They got a kid there now, a freshman.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they got a freshman. They got a freshman at quarterback there that's on the staff.
Well, they need to just put him in and just let it rip the Band-Aid off now because
it's enough.
He might be like JJ. He might be able to save him a little bit. This is what that Jack Tuttle and Alex Orji.
Alex Orji can't throw the ball forward.
Come on, just go with the freshman.
One other thing of note, I'm not going to play it because I don't need to hear Connor Stallion's voice on our air, but he was on a Barstool podcast called Bussin' with the Boys where he said that he had a friend who had a friend on the Ohio State staff, and that he gave Ohio State signals to beat Michigan State in 2021 because they could not have a bye. And he goes on to make some other wild claims in this thing. Ohio State beat Michigan State that year 56-7. He said 80 to 90% of Power 4 teams employ a signed signal stealer. Adding to his knowledge, Iowa and Michigan State were the only Big Ten teams to not employ someone like him during his time there. What do you make of him?
Oh man, to be honest with you, in the grand scheme of things, it never really bothered me that much. I know a lot of people are up in arms about it. I was one of those ones. Like, even if you knew to play, like, which I'm sure you probably did, like, stop it. That was how we were. I didn't care about whether or not you knew to play, but I do understand the pros that it does give a team. Like, I think if I knew, for example, as a DB, I'm always thinking pass first. Like, that's just me. But for like a linebacker, I think the linebacker position is the ones that greatly benefits the most, or even the D-line. But the linebackers particularly, because if they know it's run or pass, like if you know it's pass, if they run play, I'm not going to step up. I'm never going to step up. I'm going to get to my drop and be where I need to be to help in the pass. If I know it's run, I know to get ready to fill a gap. So those are the people that benefit the most, in my personal opinion.
Coming up next, we play a little higher or lower. Second hour of the program on a First Friday Miracle. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service: bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
I'll be honest, I'm really worried about my kids and grandkids. I never thought we'd be facing a national abortion ban in this country.
That's Kim. She lives in Cincinnati and is a grandma to 6.
If something happened to my family, I'd want them to have all the help they need. But with a national ban, they'll have nowhere to turn.
Bernie Moreno supports a national abortion ban, and he has said he is 100% against abortion with no exceptions. And if Moreno's in the Senate, he could be the deciding vote to pass a national abortion ban.
Last year, we voted to protect abortion in Ohio. Now, Bernie Moreno wants to get rid of that completely. It's simple. I don't trust Bernie Moreno to do what's right for my family. He should never be Ohio's senator.
Your Community PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Your Community PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at yourcommunitypac.org.
Hey guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy and drive, it could be low testosterone. Don't wait. Get your levels checked by the experts at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients. And once you're established, you'll get the convenience of physician-monitored, at-home TRT with advanced treatment that includes both lab testing and medication. Low T Center ships directly to your door. So go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when intended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One Coat Hide Color Collection.
If it's hot, it's here. The best new stuff is at GNC. GNC brings you some of the best new products first from brands like Optimum Nutrition, Ghost, Bloom, and more. GNC has the newest breakthroughs in muscle building, weight loss, and wellness, and the best energy drink flavors. If you heard about it at the gym, you can bet that conversation started at GNC. Ask a coach about the newest drops at your GNC store or shop our full collection online at gnc.com today. If it's hot, it's here. GNC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NHL regular season kicked off last night. The Panthers hung their Stanley Cup banner, then beat the Bruins 6-4. Florida will be in Columbus next Tuesday for the Blue Jackets home opener. CBJ begin the regular season on the road tomorrow night in Minnesota against the Wild. Face-off Thursdays 8 p.m. In baseball Wednesday, the Tigers host the Guardians at 3:08 in Game 3 of the ALDS. The series is tied at a game apiece. The other ALDS has the Royals and Yankees square at 1. KC will host New York tonight at 7:08. In college football, number 2 Ohio State's at number 3 Oregon Saturday night at 7:30. Earlier today, the NCAA announced plans to eliminate the national letter of intent. They'll instead focus on financial aid and scholarship agreements. This update sponsored by Roosters. Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, tickets, sideline passes, a trip to a postseason game, and more. Register today at roosterswings.com.
After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
I'm going to run something by you guys. Bo, Reese, Tyvis with you here on a First Friday. We have the Week 6 college football rankings in terms of ratings, television ratings. We'll do higher or lower on the rankings in a second, but television ratings. I'm going to read you the top ones, and you tell me what jumps out. The highest rated game of the weekend was Tennessee and Arkansas, 5.3 million people on Saturday night. So that was number 1. Number 2 was Auburn and Georgia on ABC. That was 4.9 million. Number 3 was Ohio State, Iowa on CBS, 4.5. Number 4 was Michigan, Washington, 4.4 on NBC. That was in prime time. Missouri and Texas A&M, 3.3. Michigan State and Oregon was 2.8 on Friday night. UCLA, Penn State, 2.75 on Fox. That would have been Saturday night. No, was that Big Noon? I think that was Big Noon, was that one. And then Miami Cal in the fourth window, 1.9. So there's a couple of things that jump out to me. What's the first thing that jumps out to you when I give you those numbers?
That the SEC got the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
for
what
games?
Did you say the second one was? You said
second one was Tennessee. Was Auburn, Georgia, 4.9.
The fact that Tennessee and Arkansas is the number 1 is mind blowing to me. I don't care.
This goes to something that I've talked about for the longest time. Reese knows it. He's probably sick of hearing it. The SEC CBS deal took the most regional conference in the world and made it a national brand. You cannot get more regional than Auburn and Georgia. You cannot. Tennessee and Arkansas, you cannot get more regional than that.
I don't understand why that one won.
Because these
fan
brands,
bases.
Yeah, and we got as big a fan base as any.
That's what I was about to say.
We got the biggest fan base as any. But you are told for 30 years because of the CBS package, this is the best game of the week, and this conference is the best conference.
I should have said
so it all
conference
comes home to
fan
roost.
bases. Nobody's like
conference.
more
It's a
tribal
region.
than the SEC.
That's true. That's a fact.
Just means more. They say it all the time.
I guess.
Yeah, and I honestly think people laugh at me at this. I think this honestly goes back to the Civil War. I think it's like the South does this is the one thing we do, is we do college football. And so that's why when you play them, they chant SEC, SEC, because there's a regional pride that comes with it. That's insane. But it's fact. Like people in Michigan. No, and I think also Michigan doesn't care what you're doing. They're not watching Ohio State play Iowa. Michigan fans aren't. Michigan fans watch Michigan.
Well,
not like they do down there.
They root to see us fail. So,
well, sure, yeah, and vice versa. But those jumped out at me. The other thing that jumped out to me is there's only one game of a conference that is not the SEC or the Big Ten, and that was Miami Cal in the fourth window at 10 o'clock at night.
I mean, that's the game. That ended at 2 in the morning, right?
That sure did. But you had Florida State Clemson on Saturday. You had some Big 12 games. None of those registered. What registered was SEC and Big 10. That's what registered. Time for a little higher, lower. Hit it, Reese.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. The Waterworks, your undefeated team of plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling. Call 614-232-2222 today.
All right, week 7 of the college football season is what we're about to step into. I actually think it started Tuesday night, Liberty and FIU. I think the Flames are now 5-0 on the season, for what it's worth.
That's the Fighting Tom Hermans they beat?
He's at FIU? Or is he at FAU?
Oh, he's FAU.
Florida International.
He's FAU. Yeah. One's in Boca and the other one's in Fort Lauderdale.
So one's the Fighting Tom Hermans. One would be the Fighting Pitbulls of FIU.
That's true.
He is doing that.
Yeah.
Good for them, honestly.
God bless. Yeah.
Say NIL's killing the sport. I think it's making it exponentially better.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple changes from what was the top 25 in week 6 into the top 25 in week 7. At number 1, reclaiming that top spot with 52 first-place votes is Texas. At number 2, with 9 first-place votes, Ohio State. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Penn State. Higher or lower for the Nittany Lions at 4?
So I think they have the first 3 right. I think Texas is the deserving number 1. We just haven't played anybody yet. That can change this week. If we take care of business at Oregon and handle them and juxtaposed to Texas against Oklahoma, what that looks like, I think you could be the number 1 team in the country by the time the polls come out on Monday next week. So I think they got the first 3 right. Normally, I would pound the table for undefeated Big Ten team. And Penn State's got some decent wins. I just do not trust that coach, and I do not trust that program. I don't have a huge problem with it because I hate putting Georgia in there because they've had their own bit of inconsistencies. I mean, they struggled to beat Kentucky, lost it at Alabama, were down 30 in that game in the first half. But Penn State is one that's hard for me to imagine them as the number 4 team in the country.
I think I'm right there with you. Don't get me wrong. I studied them. I've done a tailgate show there, so I got to look at their team, and they're head and shoulders better than what they were last year. I mean, the fact that they still got that 2-headed monster, and now Drew Aller has weapons, with Trey Wallace and those other guys, which, by the way, I don't know what's going on with Julian Fleming. Like, I ain't really heard his name a lot. But anyways.
No,
And then they got that tight end, that Warren tight end guy that does everything. I think he's got like a receiving, passing, and rushing touchdown, which is crazy. That secondary scares me. And I said that when I covered them. It's something about those corners that they got. Not the safeties. I respect the safeties. But those corners, I think when they go up against the Buckeyes, that will be a matchup to me that I got to see. If they are able to fare well with the Buckeyes, then yes, they deserve to be a top 5 school. I just don't see it right now. So I would have them a little bit lower.
Julian Fleming on the season, 7 receptions for 99 yards and no touchdowns. His longest was a 39-yard reception from the For What It's Worth department.
Yeah, it's been a tough start there. When you were over there and as a player being recruited, because I guess from my vantage point, I see no reason why Penn State isn't a lot closer to what we are than they are. Mm-hmm. What holds them back in your perspective?
That's a good question, actually.
Thank you.
It's got to be the coach.
Because it's a cool an environment as you're going to get. It's a great college town. It's tough to get to.
And they actually recruited well. It was a couple of guys that I played with at Ohio State that was like, Urban either flipped them, or they was like, it was down to Ohio State and Penn State. So
Noah.
Noah, exactly. So the thing is, it's just not happening on Saturdays. Like they haven't won the big game yet, and to me that's it would scare a recruit to think like, unless you're one of those recruits like I can be the missing piece. Okay, yes, but y'all don't have history of as of lately. Y'all haven't been to one CFP. Well, I think they went to one when it was 4, and y'all haven't been in it.
Did they?
I thought they did because the year they blocked
I thought they got shut out.
The year they blocked the field goal to beat Ohio State, they didn't go
on.
No,
we went. We lost to Clemson.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure that's 16.
Yeah, that is
They have not made the CFP.
No, they've never made it.
Well, this year is going to be telling because if they don't make the 12 teams, it's done. The coach is getting fired, and it's going to be a new regime over there.
At number 5 in the AP Top 25 for Week 7 of the college football season is Georgia. At number 6, Miami. 7, Alabama. 8, Tennessee. 9, Ole Miss. Higher or lower for those 3 SEC teams, 7, 8, 9.
What do we do with these teams?
The Alabama one, I still would have them in front of Georgia. I know they lost to Vandy, but I would still have them in front of Georgia. I just can't justify putting a team under a team that they beat. Like, that makes no sense to me. So I would have, believe it or not, I would have the Crimson Tide higher.
It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that you can lose to Vanderbilt, you can lose at Arkansas, you can lose at home to Kentucky, and just be fine. They're just fine. It didn't even hurt them.
No.
Alabama's 7, so what? They're fine. They have plenty of time to make their way back. And when you look at their schedule, it's very navigable to get to a point where they play in an SEC title game. Same thing with Tennessee. Their schedule's a little bit more robust in that they still play Georgia, they play Bama. But Tennessee is sitting there. That's a brutal loss to lose at Arkansas. That's a
brutal
joke,
loss
man.
to lose at Vanderbilt.
It's a terrible loss to lose at Vanderbilt. That's a terrible loss for Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, and yet they're still sitting there at 7. It's a bad loss for Lane Kiffin to lose to Kentucky, and we can't wait to put him back in the top 10. The problem is, I don't know, Tyvis, who I would put in there, because I'm saying to myself, this pisses me off that you lose games like that, and there isn't a true penalty for it, but then if you go from 10 down, am I putting Clemson ahead of Alabama?
No.
Clemson got housed by Georgia. Alabama beat Georgia.
That was the first game.
So that's the problem.
That was the first game of the season, though.
They got housed. Am I going to put Iowa State undefeated 5-0 ahead of Alabama? That doesn't seem like that makes any damn sense to me.
It is no other team.
No. And the Big Ten schools, quite honestly, the Big Ten schools have blown it. Michigan's 4-2. We've got the ones at the top with Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State.
I'm putting the Hoosiers in front of them. They deserve it.
Get Indiana up there, baby.
So you've got the Hoosiers at 18, and because the poll voters, they assign this, and it's a point system, Indiana, Oklahoma, Kansas State all have 459 points. So they're all technically the 18th best team in the country per the AP Top 25. At 21, Missouri, 22, Pittsburgh, 23, Illinois, 24, Michigan, 25.
Oh, baby.
5-1, SMU. Higher or lower for the Ponies there?
This is the grand experiment, Tyvis.
It is.
It's the grand experiment.
Let me look at their quality. I mean, they beat Louisville.
Their only loss is to BYU. They beat Florida State. They beat Louisville.
Game too.
They are, I mean, it is the most fascinating bet on us in the history of college football.
They don't play nobody.
Well, they're in the ACC. What do you want them to do?
I know.
They played Florida State. They played Louisville. They're taking no money from TV. They're saying, we're good. We don't need your television money. We're good.
They played, they Stanford, Duke, Pitt, BC, Virginia.
Traditional ACC powers you're listing.
These are ACC teams, Coach. That's the league they're in.
Terrible.
It's the league.
The Pittsburgh game's going to be good, and Boston College is going to be good. That's the only two.
5-0 Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, that's the only two games. They win those two games, they might be like top 15.
When we were talking about them, we talked about them as one of the 20 most interesting programs. They were all pointing towards the Florida State game. Like Florida State in Dallas was the one, and they put it on them. Everyone's putting it on FSU, but then they put it on Louisville. They're in a good spot right now at 5-1. They could absolutely be a playoff team. They could absolutely play for an ACC championship.
They should. They better.
You got to handle success, but they could. And then just watch out in recruiting. Going to be very interesting to see what happens there. All right, good job on that. Coming up next, Dan Lanning. Does he need this win? You will hear from the Georgia coach as he prepares for one of the biggest games he has ever coached at the University of Oregon. That is coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited truck month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Would you believe that giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people? Or that a single cloud can weigh 550 tons or more? Sounds fake, right? How about an insurance company that actually treats you right? Sounds unbelievable, but it's true. NJM Insurance is proud to put policyholders first. And they don't use jingles or mascots either. Don't believe me? Well, guess what? Everything in this commercial is true and approved by the legal department. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit njm.com for a quote.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at bluejackets.com.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the fan. Very good. Now set the second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the fan's HD3 and save the fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote,
on major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty, and Social Security benefits too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party,
ignore it. Because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today we have a lot of sunshine out there. Low humidity. Temperatures will be around 70 today. It'll be cold tonight, 42 in Columbus. But if you live outside of Columbus, it could dip down to the upper 30s. 69 for your high on Thursday. A little bit warmer with a high of 75 on Friday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. We're, of course, sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss is Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions in to Reese at 971BFS, also on the YouTube chat. We will get to those coming up at 11 o'clock. The best ones are going to get the best one, rather. We'll get that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tour and the tasting. That is coming up at 11 o'clock. Use the hashtag, hey guys, either Tyvis, and of course the great Tyvis Powell is here. And so either any questions you have for us, we will get to shortly in the 11 o'clock hour. Dan Lanning needs this. I don't. We have a question mark on this. Does Dan Lanning need this? No question mark. Statement. He does. He needs to win a game like this. He's lost 3 times to Washington. He lost twice to him last year. He needs a big win on his campus to validate everything that they're doing. So I don't think there's any doubt that there is a lot of pressure on Lanning. I think there's much more pressure on Lanning than there is on Ryan Day, quite honestly. I think Ohio State could go out there and lose a close game, and all of their goals are still intact. You still have to beat Michigan. That's when the pressure will be on the Buckeyes. But for Oregon, they have got to win this game, or at the very least be ultra competitive in this game. If they get beaten up or bullied, that's when there will be something, and there will be questions asked of Lanning and his program, because this whole thing was built on an SEC program in the Pacific Northwest. He turned down Bama to stay there. Lanning was available yesterday and discussed the challenge of preparing for the challenge that is Ohio State.
You can't take away one thing knowing that something else is a strength as well, right? And they're not really limited in what their strengths are. They're able to run the ball really well. They're able to throw it well. Talented at multiple positions. Quarterback can run the ball as well. So there's a lot of things that present threats, and I think you have to be sound in everything you come up with. Be aware of any risk that you're going to be taking, and when is that risk worth it or not, and be able to, play sound football.
Tyvis, I want to take you back to 2014. It was actually 2015, so we'd actually passed the calendar year. You guys were playing Oregon in the national title game, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but that was such a circus for y'all. But there was the press day, the media day was at like a convention center. Yeah. Is where it was. It was a big area, and they, all of you guys have to talk, and everybody's got a podium, and that's the way that it goes.
That's the one that Cardell said something about my mother.
That's right. Of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
You remember it well. So you guys went first.
Yeah.
And then they went second. And so we were at that media day, and you guys left, and then they came in, and I went, oh, they're cooked. And the reason I knew they were cooked is because they did not have the size, the girth in the trenches that y'all did, and they could not block you. And I knew that they would not be able to stop anything you guys wanted to do on the ground. They just physically were not built the same way. They have spent a decade trying to be built the right way with various different coaches. Mario Cristobal tried to do it, and he did. He came in here and won, out-physicaling us and punching us in the mouth. When you watch this Oregon team that Lanning has put together, do they look different than the one that you guys housed in the national championship game in 2015?
Not really. I mean, I think they still got some smaller guys, especially when I look at their line, their offensive line. I still think that they're pretty undersized there. But that's why it works for the scheme that they run. And that's why I think if this thing comes down to a physical game like that, the Buckeyes should win that with flying colors, in my personal opinion. They got some dudes over there, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to just size, I think Ohio State has the size.
This has been, and I remember Urban years ago when like the USC job came open. And this is when he was still kind of entertaining, or I don't know how serious he was, but it was before he took the Jacksonville job. And every time there was a big time college job open, his name would pop up. Yeah. And certainly for USC and obviously at Texas, there were ulterior motives as to why he wanted to make it seem like he was interested in that job for Tom. Stick it to him a little bit. But in terms of the USC one, the one thing that Urban and people said was, I don't know if we can recruit offensive and defensive linemen to this place to contend with Alabama, with Georgia, with Ohio State, with Texas. Quite honestly, because there aren't that many big people in that part of the country. There just aren't.
Yeah.
There aren't enough of them. So it's always something that they're going to have to overcome to win at the highest level. And when I watch Oregon play, you're right. They got dudes who flash. Skill guys who flash. The quarterbacks are always good. They can always fly. They got a couple of guys here and there on defense, but I just don't see the size and the strength in waves the way that it is here.
And to your point, the part that gets me the most is, like, when we played in that national championship game, they had 2 D linemen that was first-round picks, DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, who I so happened to play with in San Francisco. Actually, I just talked to Defoe today. He's with the Colts now, but I was just talking to him today. But the fact that they had 2 bona fide first-round picks, 2 guys that went to the NFL and actually kind of dominated at their positions in the NFL. We beat them, and their nose tackle was the guy that was undersized. I remember Cardell running over the nose, or running. He was like, got stopped and like drove his feet and drove the nose tackle back 5 yards. So now Cardell's a nose tackle himself, but that's not the point. Like, the fact that the quarterback did that to your interior defensive line, like, that's sad. That should never happen.
And that's what's held them back.
Yeah.
That's it. Because everything else they can do, it's just that they cannot recruit. They've not historically been able to recruit in waves on the offensive and defensive line the way that we have here, and certainly the way that the big-time programs have in the South. So from Lanning's perspective, he obviously knows that. So then what would be his approach on Saturday? What type of a game does Oregon have to have for Lanning to finally get that monster top 5 win that he's been craving for so long?
They gotta be. They have to find a way to get Ohio State to be undisciplined. And like I talked about it earlier, it's gonna start with them linebackers. If they're running zone and they're getting those linebackers to respect Jordan James as a running back, that's going then, and you can throw that pass behind them linebackers with that slant, and now you get the ball to your guys in space, and they got some juice. Now, don't get me wrong, those receivers got some wiggle room and they're fast. If you get them in space, and our athletes don't do a great job of cupping the athlete, that's what Coach Myers said. You got to cup the athlete. All of you guys move as one. Take the air out, take the space out, so he has no room to move. If they're not doing that, and they're allowing him to open up cutback lanes and stuff like that, it could be a long day. It could be. And if you're not disciplined and you're allowing them to hit these explosive over-the-top plays, safeties biting up or something like that, and our corners aren't matching well, then yes, you could turn this into a game. But if they play discipline and they play man and everybody can handle their one-on-one matchup and they allow that D-line to cook like they've been doing for the past couple of weeks, this thing ain't like Urban would tell me. This thing ain't got to be close now. Nobody ever said that this game had to be close. So if they go out there and play like they supposed to play, like they've been playing, and be dominant like they was, it won't be close.
Lanning has probably his best wins as the coach at Oregon. He's got 2 wins over Utah when they're ranked 10th and like 13th. His bowl wins are North Carolina and Liberty.
Oh, that's terrible.
So he doesn't have anything like this.
He lost on the resume. He lost in the Pac-12, right, in the championship?
Yeah, he lost to Washington twice last year.
That's a shame. Well, I mean, they had Michael Penix, who was just special. So,
well, he had Bo Nix. One of those two guys is starting in the NFL right now. The other one isn't.
Don't do that.
It's just true. It is.
It's not fair. That's not one. It's
true.
One of them also is sitting behind a guy that's getting paid like $40 million. Like,
still, I tell you, Atlanta, not a serious operation. Can you imagine if they would have got defensive help with the 8th pick in the draft?
Yeah,
not a serious operation. All right, Jake Trotter. He's going to be out in Eugene. He will join us coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capace here for Worthington Jewelers.
Join us for our semi-annual bridal sale.
Featuring our BOGO, buy one, get one 50% off on engagement rings, wedding bands, or wedding sets. Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome Columbus to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Morning Juice.
You have to make sure the analytics are specific to you. Matt McConaughey may have an 80% chance of picking up that girl at the bar. What is your chance?
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Get your ex to the lodge for the freshest menu additions. Spice up your wing order with new sauces featuring the chicken tikka or spicy chili crisp. Or try our famous flatbreads with the backyard barbecue brisket or chicken tikka. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844medohio.com.
It's never too soon to get a jump on your holiday shopping, especially at Meijer. Start saving this week with our earliest holiday deals and get over 40% off on items like Mr. Coffee Coffee Maker or SodaStream Terra Machine. Start checking off your list and get 20% off on select toys like Nerf and Series Dart Blasters, Play-Doh play sets, and assorted puzzles. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
I'll be honest, I'm really worried about my kids and grandkids. I never thought we'd be facing a national abortion ban in this country.
That's Kim. She lives in Cincinnati and is a grandma to 6.
If something happened to my family, I'd want them to have all the help they need. But with a national ban, they'll have nowhere to turn.
Bernie Moreno supports a national abortion ban, and he has said he is 100% against abortion with no exceptions. And if Moreno's in the Senate, he could be the deciding vote to pass a national abortion ban.
Last year, we voted to protect abortion in Ohio. Now, Bernie Moreno wants to get rid of that completely. It's simple. I don't trust Bernie Moreno to do what's right for my family. He should never be Ohio's senator.
Your Community PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Your Community PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at yourcommunitypac.org.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed it is, and he joins on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline, senior college football reporter at ESPN. Well, this is the one us around here have been waiting for a long time, my friend. It has been a brutal month of September for the Buckeyes, and they finally get a big-time challenge out in the Pacific Northwest. You're going to be out there, right? Do I have that right?
I am headed to Portland tomorrow, and then we'll make my way to Eugene on Saturday. I've never been to Autzen Stadium before, so looking forward to checking this one off the bucket list and can't wait to get out there.
You're one thing that Tyvis and I were talking about a little bit earlier was just the pressure that I think is on Dan Lanning I think it's much more than the pressure on. I think Ohio State can, and I think Ohio State will appoint themselves very well on Saturday night. But in terms of the season for Lanning, big picture, what are his quality wins? Lost twice to Washington last year. Has never had a big opportunity in a bowl game. Every time they're on these type of stages, usually it's in the trenches where they come up short. What is your read on this Oregon setup for Saturday night?
Yeah, it's a little early in Lanning's tenure, and yeah, they didn't win those Washington games, but I thought that they played well in both of them. Like, they were in both of them at the end, and obviously Washington was a fantastic team, made the national championship game. But yeah, you need to start winning some of these games, and I think for Oregon, you lose at home to Ohio State. That's a pretty clear signal that you're maybe not on the top level of the Big Ten. The thing that helps Lanning and Ryan Day and James Franklin go down the list is we have a 12-team playoff. So season's not over if you lose. It's not over if Ohio State loses for the Buckeyes. It's not over for Oregon if the Ducks lose. And I think there's a pretty good chance, and we'll see what happens with Penn State. I'm a Penn State believer. We'll find out about them in L.A. this weekend. But this could be game 1 or 2. Like, we could see this game again later on this season in the Big Ten Championship, and who knows? Maybe even a third time if things break that way.
Oh, Jake, bless your heart for believing in Penn State. When you look at this, how you doing? When you look at this Ohio State and Oregon matchup, what do you think is the deciding factor? Like, what unit for Ohio State or Oregon do you think makes the difference in this game?
Me and Tyvis and Bo, we're all so happy to not be talking about Deshaun Watson and the Browns.
You got it right.
I've been having to deal with that. This is such a reprieve.
So nice
for all of us. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that what I really want to see is I think Ohio State is the best quartet of playmakers in the country. And Henderson, Quinshawn, Ibuka, and then Jeremiah Smith, who I think would be a midseason All-American if the season ended today. He doesn't have big numbers, but my goodness, the plays that he's made the last 2 weeks. I think there's one receiver at Alabama who's also a true freshman, and maybe a receiver at Colorado in Travis Hunter. Like, that's the list of guys that can make some of the plays that Jeremiah Smith has been reeling off lately. I mean, even Chip Kelly yesterday was like, I just sit up there in the press box and marvel. Like, you can't call a play that's going to result in that. You have to have a player like Jeremiah who can pull that off. So, all right, let's see Ohio State unleash these guys, because it has been a little bit of an underwhelming first month and a half to the season. Not in terms of the way Ohio State has played, but just the competition. I mean, I don't know that they've really played anybody who I would call an above-average team to this point, with apologies to Iowa. I just don't think that they're at that level. So I want to see how Kelly and Day and Will Howard utilize these 4 guys. And is it really as unstoppable as it seems to be? Because I feel like it might be pretty unstoppable. The way that those 2 guys are running, I mean, they are running hard. Henderson looks fantastic. He looks like he did earlier in his career. Quinshawn, the physicality. And then, we forget about it. Emeka, he just had 3 touchdown catches the other day. Whatever. Does it look like I think it's going to look the rest of the season against Oregon? Because, Oregon's got a good front. Oregon, they have some levers that they can pull, and obviously they're going to have the home crowd in a primetime environment. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm interested to see, how everything gets unlocked. Do we see Will Howard in the quarterback run game a little bit more? I think we might. You're going to, I think, see the full scope of this Ohio State offense for the first time this season.
It's not lost on you, I'm sure, that these are 2 former Big 12 quarterbacks at the signal calling positions, with Gabriel and, of course, Will here. Both of Gabriel, he'll throw it to you in the red zone. He did it last week. Will has turned it over as well, but not at the propensity of Gabriel. What do you make of that matchup at the quarterback position with the 2 transfers?
Yeah, it might be the biggest quarterback in the Big Ten against the smallest, but both guys get it done in different ways. And Dylan is a fabulous player. I mean, he really is. And, I know Oklahoma was a little bit up and down when he was there, but a bunch of that was, due to injuries. And, Gabriel, again, is not a big guy. So, you can get in his face a little bit, but he makes a ton of plays. And, again, they've got weapons. And I think for Will, there were a lot of questions to him yesterday, like, what do you think about playing in a big game? Like, as if he's never played in one before. Like, this guy's been in a lot of big games at Kansas State. You know, he's played Texas. He's played Oklahoma. You know, he's been in those environments before. But, you know, are we going to see him do some of the stuff he did at Kansas State? And I don't think we've really seen much of yet. Like, he's run the ball a little bit, but, you know, he has the chance to be a real weapon in the quarterback running game, and he's got the play caller in Chip Kelly who loves to unleash that. And I'm sure Oregon is prepared for it, but, you know, you watch film of Ohio State, I just feel like that they have been saving that for a game like this.
You know, when you look at these two teams, I think both teams, well, more so Ohio State, they struggle to start off fast. You know, it usually takes the second half for them to get rolling. In a game like this, is it imperative that they get off to a good start? Ohio State, I'm talking.
Yeah, you know, and I think that if you're ahead and you're Ohio State, you can really lean on that running game. But I would also, Tyvis, I would say some of these slow starts, you know, particularly in the season opener, I think that they were trying to establish the offense so that they could beat Oregon and Penn State and Michigan and, you know, whomever in the playoff. And what I mean by that, and I think Dave said it after that first game, you know, we're not trying to score 70 necessarily. We are trying to create an identity offensively, and we're trying to run the ball. And even if eight guys are in the box, we're still going to try to run the ball because that's what we want to be able to do when it really matters later on in the year. So, I mean, yeah, you want to get ahead. You don't want to be behind on the road, and I think you really want to get ahead with the way this running game is looking and the way the offensive line is creating running lanes for the two backs. But, you know, I think regardless, like, you don't want to be behind big on the road. And the strength of this team is when they can, you know, really pound the ball with as great as the receivers are. I think the strength and identity of this team is pounding the ball with those two backs. Like, that is what they want to do. And it's easier to do that when you're ahead versus when you're behind.
Yeah, it's going to be bludgeoning. That's what they want to be. It's that. Yep. You're exactly right. It's that physicalness. That's what Chip's going to do. I'm completely confident that's what he's going to do on Saturday night. Jake, get you out of here on this one. First big test for the Buckeyes. It is on the road. We're a couple of days out, so I'm not going to hold you to this or put it in Sharpie. But what's kind of your feeling on how this thing goes Saturday?
I like Ohio State. I think that they are the real deal. I think they're on the very short list of teams that, to me, to this point, look like they can win a national championship. You know, you put Texas there. I guess you put Alabama, although clearly they've got some issues. I would put Georgia, although clearly they have some issues. I mean, you could make the case that Ohio State's been the most impressive team in the country to this point. And now it's time to send a message. So I think they will. I think they'll play well. And I think we'll come away from that game on Saturday talking about Ohio State as potentially the number one team in the country. I'm not confident in what I've seen so far. And there's not a slight against Oregon because I think that they are very talented and I love their quarterback. And I think they're well coached. They'll be ready to play. But Ohio State's offensive skill talent just feels overwhelming right now.
Great stuff, buddy. As always, enjoy the trip out there. Look forward to talking to you next week for a full review. Thanks for your time, pal.
Okay, guys. Take care.
All right, that's Jake Trotter, senior college football writer at ESPN, joining us on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing, coming up next, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings with new low prices on hundreds of your favorite produce items like pineapples, avocados, navel oranges, and lettuce at your neighborhood Giant Eagle.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And if you're looking for tickets to the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series game at the Shoe, the Fan can help. We're giving away tickets to the biggest Jacket fans. Here's how you can win a pair of those tickets. Go to 971thefan.com, describe what makes you the biggest fan, and upload the picture. The top 10 biggest fans is decided by the fan selection panel will win a pair of tickets to the game. Must be in by 11:59 p.m. on October 13th. So you got 4 days. The game is set for March 1st at the Shoe. The Jackets and the Wings. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or on the Ticketmaster app. Time for Thing or Not a Thing. Hit it, Reese.
Thing or Not a Thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, so while you guys were talking to Jake, a little bit of NFL breaking news. Ian Rappaport says the Texans have placed wide receiver Nico Collins, who's the NFL's leading receiver, on injured reserve. He is out 4 games. The Texans, I believe, are at the Patriots this Sunday. And I think Houston's a 7-point favorite in this one. But thing or not a thing?
Huge thing. You saw what happened when we went it down in the game this past weekend against Buffalo. When he goes down, their offense takes a big step back. It's 4 games. Man, if you're them, do you get in on Devontae Adams? Like, you you got to go. CJ's going to elevate guys. They still have Tank Dell. They still have Stephon Diggs. But Nico was the one that unlocked it all. That's a monster thing for CJ and the Texans offense.
I think it's a big thing because I know that him and Nico, first of all, this is weird that I find myself rooting for a Wolverine, but whatever. He is a really good player. The thing that gets me about them is I thought Joe Mixon at the beginning of their year actually was the key part of their offense, and their run game has not been the same since he's been gone. And I think they have to find a way to get that part going, especially if Nico's going to miss 4 games. They got to get back on that run game. This CJ slinging the ball a lot. I mean, he's a really good passer. He does all these great things, but his number 1 target's gone now. Stephon Diggs obviously is going to step up. He's still got some juice in him. And Tank Dell, like before he got hurt last year, he was like arguably offensive rookie of the year, and I haven't seen that from him this year so far. So they gotta really pick things up.
This also came down this morning, but from the NCAA, where the D1 Council approves transition of National Letter of Intent program into NCAA signing and recruiting rules effective immediately. Which, if you can unscramble that word salad, it means they're doing away with the National Letter of Intent. On3's reporting that the NCAA plans to move to financial aid and scholarship agreements, something you might have to sign on a line that could be dotted. Thing or not a thing?
All right, so I'm state school here. I didn't go to a fancy private school, so I'm guessing what this really means is a transition towards when they can pay athletes.
That's what it sounds like,
right? And which is coming, and then this feels like what they're going to try to do is make this a contract.
That's exactly what it sounds like,
right? So they can hold them accountable for. So that's what I think this is about.
I think before you had to be enrolled to receive the money from the collectives and stuff like that. So I think that maybe now, if you sign this contract, I guess maybe because you'll probably still do it while you're in high school, right? If they're getting rid of a national of intents, so on the back end of high school, maybe you can start receiving that pay before you actually enroll in classes and stuff like that.
The times they are changing, boys.
I'm telling you.
After Diamond Sports scrapped 11 of their 12 MLB teams last week, that includes the Cleveland Guardians, it was announced Major League Baseball will produce and distribute local games for the Guardians next season. In a statement, Cleveland said, quote, "We're excited to work with Major League Baseball to produce and distribute games locally. This is great for our fans, as beginning in 2025, our games will be more widely available. This will include streaming for the first time ever in our home television territory, essentially ending blackouts for our fans locally." More specific information about where and how fans can watch is going to be made available closer to the 25 season, likely when the Guardians are celebrating a World Series victory. Similar arrangements have been made with the Brewers and Twins. Major League Baseball produced and distributed games for the Diamondbacks, Rockies, and Padres in 2024. They made direct-to-consumer streaming options available at dbacks.tv, padres.tv, and rockies.tv. So Guardies.tv coming your way in the future. Thing or not a thing?
I imagine that this is a huge thing. Locally in Northeast Ohio, it'll be on the local television, one of the local television stations. I'm curious how that plays out, how they try to decide what that will be. Here locally in Central Ohio, I don't think any of the networks would want it. I can't imagine that they would want 162 Guardians games throughout the summer. That doesn't seem to add up to me with what they would want. Locally up in Northeast Ohio, I could see that. I'm very curious about that component of it, Reese. I mean, you're a huge Guardians fan. You continue to live in Central Ohio. Like, you'll watch it on the stream, but people like you who are maybe not as savvy when it comes to the Bad Boy streams, how are they going to consume this?
I'm hoping that it's, again, offered Guardians.tv. If Major League Baseball wants to make a companion app to the MLB app that you can just give $10 to, and you can stream it on your phone, tablet, or here's a bright idea, make a television app for like Roku or Samsung for your smart TV.
All that's fine, but I'm saying, like, if you're somebody who still gets your stuff, and there are a great many people who do, via cable or DirecTV or over the air, they have to make sure that you can watch it too.
Oh, sure. I guess.
So here locally, what does that look like, I wonder?
It's a good question for those who are still with rabbit ears, but with cable, Major League Baseball's got a couple of auxiliary channels, at least here with DirecTV.
Okay.
So you could just plug it there.
Well, this is a big thing because I would love to watch some Guardian game, but I do got to figure out. They probably YouTube TV probably just do a package, right? Where you just pay the money.
Everybody can come back to the table now.
Yeah.
So YouTube, Fubo, and my guess is, again, more details will come out once the Guardians do their World Series parade. Nothing yet about the Cincinnati Reds, as Diamond Sports Group, which is Bally Total Fitness Sports, they're only going to be carrying Braves games next year. And we also don't have any information about the Jackets, which will be on Bally this season, or the Cavs.
That's a lot.
Those
to
are
sort
still
out.
to be in the air. But
Man, I want the Cavs. Man, they got to get them off of there.
I'm going to tell you something, and I got to give credit where it's due. The baseball ratings have been really good. They've been over 2 million almost every game. I saw one where the Phillies and Mets was over 4. So from a rating standpoint, the baseball has been very good this year.
How you feeling today, Tyvis? Let's sneak some baseball in here. We got a minute.
I'm feeling good.
Must win?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I do think that they handle business in Detroit. They get it over with in Detroit. I do. That team is too good to. I know the Tigers have been hot and they've been smoking lately, but that you were supposed to lose to Scoopel. That's just what he's the Cy Young. He's gonna win the Cy Young. You were supposed to lose that game. Guardians still win 3-1.
How I got pulled into Dodgers Padres last night. The Dodgers, the team of my youth.
That grand slam and
the fact that they have to play the Padres every year and get bounced, it seems like every year by them. Like the Dodgers, the best team in baseball over the last decade. They got one World Series and it was in a closet because of COVID, and that's it. It's crazy how clutch that San Diego environment was awesome. And that's one thing I said, like if you are in a town where big league baseball takes off and you get postseason, it grabs you by the throat. The same way the NHL does or the NBA. When you have a team in the mix like this, it's playing every night or every other night, man, it's a fun follow. Really is. We'll hit Hey Guys, final hour coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why. With over 350 5-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 2 Ohio State's a 3-point road favorite this Saturday at number 3 Oregon. That'll be a 7:30 kick. First time to Eugene for Ohio State since 1967. The Buckeyes shut out the Ducks that year 30-0. Hear from Ohio State's head coach tomorrow at noon on the Ryan Day Show. The NHL regular season kicked off last night. The Panthers hung their Stanley Cup banner, then beat the Bruins 6-4. Florida's going to be in Columbus next Tuesday for the Blue Jackets home opener. CBJ begin the regular season on the road tomorrow night in Minnesota against the Wild. Jackets will skate in Colorado on Saturday. In baseball, Wednesday, the Tigers host the Guardians at 3:08 in Game 3 of the ALDS. The best of 5 is tied at a game apiece. Detroit's going to host Game 4 on Thursday. The other Game 3 in the ALDS is tonight in Kansas City. The Royals have the Yankees at 7:08. This update sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Final hour here on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Tyvis and Reese with me along for the ride. Time for a little Hey Guys. Said it, Reese.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
And when you're talking about High Bank, you're talking about home of the best blended whiskey in America. 3 years running right here in town. Stop by those 3 locations, Grandview, Gahanna, Westville. Enjoy the award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. Drink local, drink High Bank. The best question here gets the $50 gift card to the free distillery tour and tasting for up to 10. Go nuts, Reese.
All right, so the cool thing about being on YouTube is I can take questions live from the chat. So feel free, if you are watching us, to throw some your way. We have given the gift card and the distillery tour for up to 10 away to guys on the YouTube chat. So that's a place you can go. But this one comes off of Twitter first by Ronnie. Hey, guys, with Tyvis on the show and always quoting Urban Meyer, what is the one quote or saying a coach has used that stuck with you to this day?
First of all, Urban is really good at some of the things that he says. It's crazy how back then I thought he was insane and a psycho, but then now that I'm 30 now, and I'm like, man, this man was really smart. But anyways, he's not who I would pick. Actually, my position coach, Chris Ash, said this one thing that it sticks with me today because it still applies to me. He said that you should always be where your feet are. You know, and the thing is, when you're Tyvis and you juggle a lot of different jobs, you know, those things can overlap. But if you just focus on the one that you're doing right there and be the best version of yourself at that very moment, you'll always thrive in each thing that you do. So be where your feet are is probably the one thing that I've heard from a coach that I take with me to this day.
My high school football coach, Tom Trammer, still coaching high school football in the town that I grew up in, still out there. He said to me once, and revisited it years ago when I started coaching the boys and some of their little guys stuff. He goes, the thing you got to do is you have to understand that there are 2 types of leadership. There's positive leadership and there's negative leadership. And both can be powerful. you got to make sure that you have the right type of positive leadership, because if negative leadership takes over, there's no way to come back from it. And I've always preached that to the boys. I've preached it to the teams I've coached. You can see kids that do not have the best interest of everybody else, and if you give them power of leadership, it goes off the rails in a hurry.
I like that.
There was a Guardians skipper, I guess it would have been then Indian skipper back in the late 80s, that said, well, there's only one more thing to do. That's win the whole effing thing. And that stuck with me to this day, especially now with the now Cleveland Guardians in Game 3 of the ALDS against the Detroit Tigers.
Wasn't that a catcher? Wasn't it Taylor?
I forget which character.
Taylor?
I forget which character it was, but
Taylor said it. Taylor said it. Yeah. Well, I guess there's only one thing
stuck
left
with
to
me
do.
clearly.
Yeah.
All right,
Great
so
movie.
we will go to the YouTube stream with this from Phil. Hey, guys, what pregame song made you feel like you can run through a brick wall? What was your best performance after listening to said song? He says he ran a mile in 6 minutes after playing Till I Collapse by Eminem.
That's a good song, actually.
That's a damn good mile time, Phil.
That's a good.
Pretty tough. It's funny. I've said this before with like my boys. Like music is timeless. If I play them something from 30 years ago, they have no idea that it's from 30 years ago. To them, it came out last week. And the one that just kind of seems timeless, no matter what, like Thunderstruck always hits. That always hits. And if we're going to play anything in football, whatever the sport is, you play that, they roll with it. It's interesting. My oldest, though, with hoops goes Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys is his pick. Like overall, like that's what he goes. I want to chill going into hoops. Okay, man, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah, man.
Some people that listen to R&B because they need to calm themselves down.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. It is what it is. For us, I know when I played at Ohio State, no matter what was being played in the locker room, the final song that had to be played was Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill's, that intro. It literally had to be played. If we heard that, it was time to go to work. As I got older, and today, I would tell you that 99.9% of the athletes in football, if you play Nuck If You Buck, I promise you right now, they'll run through anything. There's something about that song that you'll run through brick walls, you'll jump over a semi-truck to go get the ball, all of those things.
Is that two different songs?
Yes, it is.
Very.
Okay, so you did Dreams and Nightmares, and then you did Nuck If You Buck.
If you listen to Nuck If You Buck,
I'm going to try them.
I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to try them on the boys. I'm going to try them on the boys. See how they go.
Would you have to edit some of the stuff in Nuck If You Buck?
Probably.
At their age, man, especially the oldest, like whatever you think your 12-year-old hasn't seen, he's seen it times 1 billion.
Nuck If You Buck.
I was
Anything
never
can happen.
a great athlete, but for a run, if you the first part of Icky Thump by the White Stripes is pretty
There you
good.
go.
And then I don't know if Ohio State basketball still does this, but they did, I think it was Joker and the Thief by Wolfmother before a game. And I wish I could play it, but that's something I have on my running playlist as well. Brian tweets in hashtag, hey guys, update from convincing the wife a PS5 would be a good investment. She just laughed and said, even if it was free, you don't have the time, which he thinks is obviously a fair counter. Pride hurt, but okay. What hobbies should I pick up instead? He says he was thinking lawyering for obvious reasons.
Lawyering is a good hobby. Also, if that's your profession. I can't believe. Listen, if my guess is he is a lawyer, you couldn't sell her on this? I mean, this makes me question everything. Like, your whole job is to make a case.
She literally dropped the hammer when she said, you don't have time. Like, yeah, you got a point there.
I'm going to tell you something. Even to this day, and I did play in the fall a little bit. I don't have a whole lot of time right now, but in the August, I revisited my NCAA college football when the boys got it for the Xbox, and it is therapeutic for me to just go play for 30 minutes. Truly. My wife's so cool. She doesn't say a word. I just go down, give me 30 minutes, and let me just lock in and play a little ball, and it still works. And I'm a man. I'm 40.
I still got it in video games, so like I just it's hard to retire, you know. Like
How old's your oldest?
4.
So have you done?
We ain't did. No, she ain't into sports yet.
No. Have you done? Do you have a Switch?
Yeah, I got a Switch.
Oh, I told you about that.
Yeah, you
earlier
play
in the
Mario
week.
Kart.
You got to get Mario Kart.
So
You're going to have the time of your life with it.
So PlayStation, I got a PlayStation, and me and my wife play from time to time. It's been a while. Nickelodeon has like this slime. It's essentially the Nickelodeon version of Mario Kart, and me and her got into it. Oh, my goodness. That thing got very competitive.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome.
Very competitive. And my daughter actually saw us playing, and she wanted to play. So I was trying to teach her how to play it a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah, I do think to your guys' point, like there are cheaper options of video games available outside of the PS5 that are still just as fun. Like you can find a Nintendo 64 for pretty cheap on secondary or third markets that you get for a couple $100 or maybe even less. Get Mario Kart or GoldenEye. That could provide you for at least an hour or two of fun.
GoldenEye on Switch now.
Then I'd say get the Nintendo Switch. This one comes to us on Twitter, hashtag Hey Guys. It's an oldie but a goodie. We get it every now and again. Tyvis, I don't think's answered it here. Zachary, hashtag Hey Guys. If you can add any former Ohio State football player to the current team, one offensive and one defensive since 2000, who would it be and why?
Since 2000, because obviously you immediately go Orlando Pace.
That's exactly who I was gonna say. That's funny. That's the first name that came to mind was Orlando Pace. Offensively,
who's our best offensive lineman? And our offensive line's fine this year, but who's the best offensive lineman since 2000? Is it Taylor Decker? Nick Mangold. Nick Mangold, probably. Is that the right answer to that?
I'd probably go with
and our center,
I'd say it's Mangold.
Yeah. Didn't LaCharles Bentley win the center award?
He won the Remington.
The Remington. We had a couple, didn't
We've had some guys done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Did Elfline win it?
I think he did.
Elfline maybe won it. Billy Price maybe won it. I was trying to think of a tackle.
We ain't had
Taylor seems like the best tackle.
Paris Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
Go at him.
Yeah. Defensively, I would go. I would go Chase Young or Joey Bosa.
I was just about to say I'm bringing one of the Bosas on the edge,
just to have just an embarrassment of riches.
I don't know. Defensively, if I add Tyvis Powell back there, I mean,
you going to get on the field?
He did save the season once upon a time. So there you go.
You going to play nickel?
I tell you what, those DBs we got now, it would be hard to crack that start line though. Ooh-wee. No, I think the Bosas or Chase Young is probably the correct answer for sure. Just to have that pressure and, it'll make everybody's job easier. Even though our D-line is much better than what it's been as far as pressure and sacks goes, those guys was back there in like 2-3 seconds. And with this secondary, how good they've been playing, the interception numbers will go through the roof.
All right, this one on Twitter comes in from Ryan. Hashtag, hey guys, if you were to cross over from the sports media world into the seedy underbelly that is public office, what role would best suit you? He adds, we all know Reeser would thrive as the mayor of UA, so I will not answer. Because he's right, I would, and I'd be corrupt as hell.
Well, I keep telling my wife that I should move to Powell and run for mayor. So, I think that I'd win by landslide.
So I used to call Joshua Perry the governor, and I called you the senator when you guys played.
Yeah, Josh would. If Josh runs for office in Columbus, he's gonna win by landslide for sure.
I was used to tease. He's the governor. You were the senator. All I ever want to do in public office, I want to be boss hog, and that's an old reference for the kids out there. Google boss hog. Give me a rural town. Give me a Brad Wesley like in Roadhouse that I can corrupt. That's all I want to do. I just want to run a little town. I just want to be as corrupt as possibly can be, and that's all I want is that operation. So that would be mine. Would be just corrupt small town, and just running it for my own gain. That's all I want.
I would also want to do that, but in less of a rural area and Upper Arlington.
Oh, my gosh.
You corrupting Arlington. Just running amok in Arlington would be everything that I want in life.
I'd vote for you, Reeser.
I would, too. Yeah.
You got to move into the zip code, Tyvis.
Yeah, you got to move in. Got to get in there. All right, good stuff. Was it the quote? Was that Ronnie?
Ronnie was the one with the favorite quote.
All right, we'll go Ronnie, the winner on this one. He gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tour, and the tasting for up to 10. It is home, of course, to the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's right here in town. Check them out, highbankco.com, to make your reservations. Drink local, drink High Bank. We'll go around the National Football League coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Ready to pop the question but not sure where to start? Join us at Diamond Cellar After Hours on October 17th for a night out with a DJ, drinks, and exclusive discounts on engagement rings. With 90 days to redeem your discount, there's no rush to find the one. The ring, that is. When you stop by, you'll have a chance to win Ohio State football tickets or Blue Jackets tickets in the new Diamond Cellar Club. RSVP now at diamondcellar.com/afterhours and save up to $1,000 on qualifying purchases. See you October 17th at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport, Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right, he shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, sunny skies with a high of 70. Chilly tonight with a low around 40. Another bright blue sky out there tomorrow with a high of 69. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
And hey there, friends, it's your Uncle Bo here. If you're like me and millions of other men out there, finding yourself feeling sluggish, tired, a little bit off, energy maybe not what it used to be, maybe you're not sleeping great, I know I certainly wasn't. If any of those symptoms apply to you, it's possible, even likely, that you're suffering from low testosterone. Once men reach their 30s, it starts to decrease year in and year out. I've been on my plan with Tri-State Men's Health since March. I have noticed a dramatic change in how I feel on a daily basis. I find that when the boys ask me to play sports, it's an easy yes. And there were times in the past where maybe I was a little bit winded down, didn't have the energy for it. Not the case anymore. Here's what you need to do. If this feels like you, sounds like you, go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com, take the low T quiz on the website. If the symptoms apply, you schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town. They're going to do your lab work, have your results in 30 minutes. I went through it, could not have been happier with how it's all gone. You're going to make a decision together with their licensed medical providers. The cost of the appointment's $99, includes the consult, the PSA and T test, and you're going to get those results. If you decide to start testosterone therapy, then that appointment is going to be free. Give them a call today, 800-900-9654. Visit TriStateMen'sHealth.com. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard and Medical Mile in Westerville. So this is the reporting that is done, that has been done on the Robert Saleh firing yesterday, which was shocking. 5 games into firing, fresh off of a trip to London, and to fire him on a Tuesday, not on a Monday. Like, all of it didn't really check out. Jordan Schultz with this. His understanding was that Robert Saleh was fired this morning and then escorted out of the building by team security. There was no meeting with players to inform them or anything like that. He was in the building for work, and then he was out of the building and out of a job. Rich Samini with this of ESPN. The Saleh escorted out security is a little bit off base. From what I gather, the head of security walked with him to his car, which is protocol. It's not like they had to forcibly remove him from the premises or anything. I think that was missed. Some people, having been in a building when they fire a coach, that's the way it works. You fire the coach, they load up their office in boxes. Someone from the staff, usually security, helps them go out of the building. They walk them to their car and they leave. That's standard operating procedure. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on McAfee today. There's a lot of reporting that he knew nothing about this. I saw Diana Rossini reporting this morning that he was aware that Woody Johnson, the owner there, may have an interest in firing Robert Saleh, but it wasn't like he said, "Are you okay if I do this?" Does this pass the sniff test for you, Tyvis? Because there is also reporting that Rodgers started to sour on the whole situation with Saleh going all the way back to minicamp, when Saleh had that press conference and say, yeah, we didn't know, we didn't excuse this, we did. And he went to Egypt to do ayahuasca or whatever. What do you make of all of this? And did you know Robert Saleh from your time in San Francisco? Did you guys cross paths?
So first of all, I wanted to say that I was really upset because Robert Saleh was my defensive coordinator. And anybody that played for that San Francisco or played under him, you know, we all had a lot of respect for him. We was all excited for him to have this opportunity. You know, he was always great at getting guys motivated. He saw the positive things in all situations. He's just a guy that I truly had a ton of respect for as a defensive coordinator, and I don't really say that a lot, but he was special. So I was upset to see him get fired because he's just overall just a really good dude, and I was mad about that. But the whole situation is kind of rocky to me because – it seems like those two never really got along. I know they kept saying that everything was great and everything was fine, but it always goes back to them trying to celebrate together and him pushing Saleh off of him when he tried to give him a hug, but then going and then hugging on other players. So to me, that response always said that there was tension there. Like, they could try to say whatever it was, whatever the case may be, but everybody knows that action speaks louder than words. And that was one of those moments. The way he looked at him, like, dude, you know I don't mess with you like that. Like, that's kind of how it came off to me. And, you know, they also reporting that Robert Saleh was thinking about firing Nathaniel Hackett.
He's going to get rid of play calling.
Yeah. And A-Rod and Hackett is like peanut butter and jelly. Like you can't separate those two. Those two is this when they're together, they do damage together. And that was when Rodgers won the 2 MVP seasons back to back with Hackett calling the plays and stuff like that. So of course there was tension there if that was actually true. And if they were good, even if they were fine, even if they was amicable, even if it was great, they was always going to